The Hebrew writer says, let us therefore strive to enter that rest. That word strive is the word to be eager, to expend energy and effort. It's a deliberate effort to get into that rest. You know, when you're doing something and you're focused and you want to make sure this task is accomplished, you do everything that you can. Get rid of the hindrances from making you get there. This is what he's saying. Let's get to that rest and get rid of anything and everything that will hinder us from getting there. Now, what is this rest? How do we enter this rest? The writer in Hebrew is saying that this rest is not just relaxation. It's not just getting some time to sleep and not deprive ourselves of sleep, but it's more than that. He says this is resting in the presence of God, resting in His salvation. And since we have this relationship with God, because the Hebrew author was addressing, there were people who were falling away from their faith. There was intense persecution, and people were saying Jesus is coming back, and because He has not come back, they were now wondering, is He ever coming back? And so sometimes that's what happens, right? When people go through difficult seasons or even prosperity. Sometimes prosperity is a greater test than adversity. As a pastor, I've seen this, and I've seen, unfortunately, people, when they're in need or in crisis, they scream and shout and cry out to God, and it's a good thing. They're coming to God. But when everything becomes comfortable, the God of comfort takes over, and they no longer need the God of the heaven and the earth. And so he says, enter this rest. And salvation has been given to us through Christ. That there's no need for us to perform. There's no need for us to try our very best. We don't need to walk on our knees to get to the church. We don't need to pray long prayers. Those are still wonderful things. Like reading the Bible is a great thing. The disciplines it's good to actually get into them. But that's not the way to salvation. The way to salvation is through Jesus Christ. Only through Christ. He says, we enter this rest when we understand we've been saved from our sins, from our past sins. And then we're also being saved from our present circumstances because of this gospel, and that the future hope that you and I have is still because of this Christ that He gave His life for us.